Well, in the meantime, and in reaction to Governor Eno's defection, the Akwa Ibom Commissioner for Special Duties and Deep Seaport, Ini Ememobong, has resigned his appointment. Ememobong refused to join the state governor in defecting to the APC. Announcing his decision, he said, quote, "While I cannot question or fault the governor's personal decision, I am unable to join in that surgeon. My decision is born out of my belief in politics with principles and my long-standing opposition to that political platform, which is daily validated by numerous Nigerians across many sectors. This decision does not affect my personal relationship with the governor," end quote. Well, Governor Eno had in a recent meeting with his appointees directed those unwilling to defect with him to the APC to resign their appointments. Well, for more on the political development in Akwa Ibom State, we're now joined by Chris Omofomo, a political analyst, and Abdurrahman Musa Ododo, founder/chairman, National Policy Dialogue. Gentlemen, glad to have you on Newsnight. Let me start with you, Chris. What's your reaction? What's your immediate reaction with Umoina's defection to APC for the first time in 26 years that PDP has now become opposition in Akwa Ibom State?
Thank you very much for having me. To our Muslim brothers and sisters. To me, it's a wrong move, it's a miscalculation, and a misreading of the future of Akwa Ibom politics. He has cited reasons, which includes for more resources to be given to the states and for better positioning, in the federal government. I would say that this is the same man, Governor Ododo, who has been given almost ₦1 trillion in the last 2 years, and cannot show substantial evidence, how much programs has been done with these resources to put the state on his right path towards prosperity. And now he's looking for more resources from the federal government. So he questions his motives and intentions. To me, it feels like more of a survivor thing. It's a betrayal to the people of Akwa Ibom, because the election he participated in 2023 had APC. APC fielded a candidate in that election, and the people rejected APC and gave it to PDP. So now he's rejecting the people who gave him the votes by abandoning them halfway and actually jumping ship and moving to APC. So I believe it's for personal gains, and his motives are questionable.
All right, Chris has raised quite a number of issues that we're going to address one by one, but first he talked about reason. Now, one of the reasons he gave is to attract more federal presence. Now the question is, does he need to do that to attract federal presence? Is the president not supposed to cater for his constituency, which is the entire 36 states of Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me again, and happy Eid al-Adha to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Yeah, I have walked the trajectory of the defection, and this is just one of them. And I think we should start speaking to what I call the higher politics.
Higher politics.
Higher politics. That is politics of purpose and not of power, of pure power. Okay. And that is the context I want to place the defection as a whole, not this. You see, there's absolutely no way you can foster a society with a fragmented and divergent allegiance. There's no way a people can. There's absolutely no way. There's no way people can foster. There's no way people can dream, can have a dream without commonality of purpose. So when I do ask myself, and I want to ask a pertinent question within all of you, we can just reflect that as we do that. What do we do with power? Because the defection is to, if you see, the driving force of that defection is to retain power, to have power. And I do ask myself personally, and as we go, our listeners and everyone here can just reflect as I'll ask that question. It's a pertinent and fundamental question. What do you do with power? People had born in a position of power even before our independence. People have been in position of power, they have been independent. Some other person are in position of power, and just some other people are justly into it. Do you ask yourself to be in position of power? Do you ask yourself, what do you do with power? Because power, absolutely, power. If you look at all civilization, all great civilization, all great nation, power, political power had never governed a people. It is wisdom, and transcendent wisdom as such. It's wisdom that gives meaning and direction to power, and that is the context I want to place, man. If you are defecting on what? It defects on what ground? Because there's just like I said, there's absolutely no way you can. You see some. These are there are things that drive leadership that determine the direction of leader. What determine do is you have to, any leader in any society, you have to understand the knowledge of the time that you are. There is no any greater knowledge. What, that's one of the pinnacle of wisdom, to understand the knowledge of the time you are. It is that determines what a leadership of that society does at a particular time. Permit me to share with you the knowledge of the time that Nigeria is. Now, Nigeria is at the pinnacle of the most significant evolutionary transition. Now, there is no historical antecedent. Anyone that can discern time will understand what I'm talking about. So what do we need now is how do we solve? We are faced with fundamental challenges, and fundamental challenges of life cannot be solved with the same state of consciousness and knowledge level that created them. Meaning that we must begin to exploit the inner dimension of our intelligence as a human being that we really are. And just like I said, power cannot do it alone.
And that's why you're talking about higher politics.
We must have wisdom. That's why you see people in a society, either in position of power or in the society. You must bring. How do you bring wisdom to power? You must balance it. Since all civilization, let's look at from Socrates down. Higher politics. How do you harmonize wisdom and politics?
I'll keep you on pause there. Higher politics, higher thinking, paradigm changing, and all that. The question of service, the question of selfishness. Now, listen to what he said. Though I have changed my political affiliation from the PDP to APC, my values, my moral fiber, the foundational principles remain the same. Does that make any sense to you?
It doesn't make any sense.
Or just in another way, evaluate that in the context of his values, his principles remaining the same.
Look, to me, he's a man without principles and a man without value. You cannot say your ideology, you cannot be talking about ideology and your moral standing, when you are moving from a party to another party that both have completely divergent views. So what you are doing is you are betraying the trust of the people. The people voted you. You have not carried them along. We didn't hear of any referendum you did in Akwa Ibom to carry the people along to ask them if they wanted to move to APC. Instead, you are threatening the people, you are threatening your government, saying if you do not move to APC, you will force them to resign or they should resign. That is not how leadership works. Parties have ideology. Leaders must be able to sell an ideology to the people.
Parties in Nigeria, do they really have ideologies?
That is the problem we have. They do not. They do not. So it's more of people who want to grab power for themselves, people who don't really care about what happens to the masses.
Yeah, we're going to talk about, you're raising quite a lot of issues, masses, the party platform. Yeah. But, Abdurrahman, the argument is that, I think you talked about it, these governors or defecting individuals are just being selfish, interested only in themselves and careless about the people that have elected them to govern. He ascended governorship pedestal on the platform of PDP. What about the people that voted him into power? Is he thinking about them? Did he think about them before he defected? What happens to them? And what of the party platform? Because the argument is that you don't vote individuals, you vote party.
Yeah, just like what my colleague panelist said. You see, he said ideals does not drive our politics. In fact, I beg to go deeper. That how can I do better? I mean, how can I drive the politics of our politics? ID cannot drive our politics because there is no ideas that drive even the nation ourselves. You see, nation, you see, great nation, great and unified nation do not happen by historical accident. It never happens, and they are product of a conscious statecraft. Have we crafted the kind of nation that ideas drives? It is when you have a nation that is founded on eternal principles. They're just like I said, I'm an advocate of a conscious creation of a new Nigeria. And somebody, they have asked me several for that, what is this new Nigeria? I'm not talking about another country. I say new Nigeria is a conscious creation of a new nation with a pure, with a clear and conscious, with a clear and defined eternal principle, established by eternal principle and driven by lofty ideas. Nations are created. If you do not consciously create one, you can never build any. So when you have a nation is driven by eternal principle and ideas. Then politics, then the political parties mimic what that society is, and they drive the ideas towards that. So as you have now in Nigeria of today, the ideas cannot drive our policy, because even the nation itself is not driven by a clear philosophy. So how do we do that? So we should bring, that is why I said there must be a coming together. Probably that is what they were doing. I don't know if they are doing. There must be a coming together, but coming together is not on political platform. A politics cannot solve the problem that we are.
We have some other issues to address, so want to, because of time. Now, excuse me. What he did has divided the cabinet. One of his commissioners, Ini Melbong, Commissioner for Special Duties, resigned. He said, even though he's close to the governor, his aversion, these are his words, to APC makes him unwilling to join the APC party. He says he's not quarreling with the governor. That's his decision. Now talk about values and talk about dividing the cabinet and what this commissioner has done.
Look, what the commissioner has done is the right thing. The governor was supposed to do the same thing, no matter the coercion, no matter the temptation, no matter how much more he desired to retain power in 2027. This is a selfish move. I'll call it what it is. It's a selfish move. The commissioner has made the right decision. That is how it should be. A man should stand for something. There should be principles. You should be able to say, no, this crosses the line. For God's sake, what has APC done for Nigeria that people are defecting to APC? I look at the 4 major things. Insecurity. Nigerians are no more secure today than they were in 2023. Hunger. Nigerians are more hungry today. Hunger has decimated families today. You see our young girls all over the streets prostituting, because there's no means of livelihood. Fathers are home, no jobs. Then you talk about poverty at its peak. So why are people defecting into APC if not for selfish and personal reasons? They've not fixed Nigeria. A mandate has been given on to them. Yet you see the National Assembly stand every time and say your mandate we should stand. What have we done with that mandate 2 years in that we are fighting for 2027? They're already in government. So govern. Fix Nigeria already. This is 2025. You've done something for 2 years. So my father used to say, a child that will grow up to be a big man, you will know from day one. What have they done with the power that will be given unto them? The power is there already. So what's this rush for 2027? Govern now. You have it. You have the federal government. You have all 22 governors and more. You have the Senate. You have the House of Reps. So what is it that you want?
Govern.
You have it. Govern. Just govern and let us solve these problems of hunger, insecurity, and poverty.
Right. Abdurrahman, one of the reasons he gave, we've talked about that. There's the question of, are all Nigerians not supposed to be same? Why is it that House of Assembly members, NAS members, if they defect, their seats, they may lose their seat, but not for the governors? Shouldn't the National Assembly be tinkering with the law to probably regulate this question of defection, especially by governors?
Yeah, that is one critical issue that we should look at. But you see, when the foundation, I like to look at foundations. When the foundation is wrong, there's nothing you can put on it. Even if we talk about maybe is it the immunity that the governors have, you see, is not all this can never. I mean, it cannot make you. Is one character that can really drive leadership. Leadership is about you, not about even that. It's not about the position. It's about the disposition of that person. It's character. There's no arsenal. There's no weapon in the arsenal of life that is so formidable there's so formidable in transforming a society and a moral force of character. It is character. That is it. That is underlined. That is what we are. He said the human person is the nation. My brother, you are the nation. We are the nation. So this nation will grow to the extent of which we grow from the inner. There's no way about it.
All right.
So it's not systems. People do say system. There's no system. There's no institution. There's no system. It's our system. It's our institution. I say, who drives system? Who creates system? Nations are created, just like I said. If you do not consciously create one, you can never build any. And that is the foundation. And that is the fundamental challenges we're facing as a people.
All right, Chris, Omofomo, have a foundation that you can talk about. Have a foundation character. This is what drives true leadership. Chris, a former political analyst, and Abdurrahman Musa Ododo, founder / chairman, National Policy Dialogue. Thank you, gentlemen, for being on Arise.
Thank you for having me.
News Night on Arise.